first off, by the way, this is a Freightliner Cascadia. I don't know why that's blinking because my screen is not blinking on my dash, but anywho, this is the Cascadia. One of the things you want to make sure is once you get the truck running that it's not idling extremely high. It's your RPM gauge. This is your oil tank. It's your water temperature. So what you want to make sure is that your oil pressure is not too high. It should fluctuate between the 50 and 75 mark. With your temperature can go all the way up to about that. I think that's the 240 mark. It can get within that range depending on, if you're in the mountains or whatever like that. This is your RPM gauge or tachometer. This is your speedometer. All right. This is, and the Cascadias, this is your fuel tank gauge. This is your DEF tank, your diesel exhaust fluid tank. And these are LEDs, so it only goes down 1 bar at a time. But that's your diesel exhaust fluid gauge. This is your primary air tank and your secondary air tank. And what happens usually is this range should be between 110 and 125. It should stay in between. That's how you know that you have enough air pressure back there in your tanks. Of course, this is your tractor valve parking, the trailer valve parking, and this is your gear shifter, and that's the boot. You want to make sure that the boot is not ripped or torn. There's nothing obstructing it from shifting properly. And we'll look at it a little good, try to get away from the sun. You want to make sure that your boot is not torn or ripped, anything like that. Of course, you're running the Qualcomm. And right here, this is new to me. But what this is the rear suspension air tank or airbags, and a lot of people can use this between a certain range. I believe on this truck is going to be, mine starts off a little high. I don't know why it does that. I do have a trailer on right now, but I'm empty, but mine still starts about right here for some reason. But I know that in the Volvos, when you get a gauge like this, anywhere between 55 and 62 normally means that you have legal weight on the drive tires, on the drive axle. So now that's done, we're gonna go ahead outside and check the outside of the truck. All right, bear with me, y'all. Drop stuff all on the ground. Alright, so anybody who does not know already, this is my 2015 Freightliner Cascadia, my baby, truck 9418, my baby. First thing you want to do when you're checking to do your pre-trip or your post-trip, I hope y'all can hear me over these other trucks, is you want to look underneath to make sure that there's nothing leaking, no fluids on the ground, or you can barely see. But they'll tell you whether or not you have a leak, oil leak, water leak, anything like that. When I come up, I don't know if you can tell, but my flashes are on, my headlights are on. I make sure my marker lights are all working. You can't tell that great, but I can tell that they're working. You have a side flasher light to make sure that's working. So, one of the things I always check before I do anything else is I want to make sure that, one, this is the supply line for the electrical lines in the back. Make sure that's pushed in. And these are my emergency brake air line. That's what stops the trailer from moving. And my service brake air line, okay? The blue one is service brake. That's what controls by your foot pedal. All right, and this is your electrical line in the middle. That gives the power from the truck to the trailer to have all the lights and all the accessories working. All right? So, steer tire number 1. All right, you want to check and make sure this is a hub oil. So you want to make sure that there's no oil leaking from inside this hub. You want to make sure that all the lug nuts are present, that you don't see any shine on metal or rust around it. If you see any shiny metal or anything that looks like shredded metal, it's a good indication that it is loose. Okay, or the vibration of the truck will make it shred the metal in the rim. Okay, make sure you got a valve stem. There's a thumper All right, when you thump your tires, all right, they should all make the same consistent sound, okay? You see the grooving of the tires. You want to make sure that you got pretty good tread depth. I can eyeball it, but I also do have a gauge. All right. I move down to my trailer. I'm pulling a container, so there's a marker light here. If this were a regular trailer, there would be a marker light or a height indicator right there in that box, and that will let you know that you have a marker light working. Excuse me. You got your drive tires. All right. Got your drive axle. Once again, same thing. Make sure all your lug nuts are present. Sorry, y'all. Make sure all your lug nuts are present. Make sure there's no shiny metal or rust around them. Same thing here. All right. Make sure they're all tight. I'm gonna go ahead and check the tires. Give them a good thump. They should make about the same sound. Same over here. Now, if you can see that, that is the front side of the drive axle's airbag. Want to make sure that airbag is not torn, ripped, or cracked. All right, you see right now, how you can see the little lip right there? That means that it's fully inflated and there's no air out of it, okay? Looking underneath it, right here is the skid plate. All right, the skid plate is what this, the fifth wheel, slides onto when you first connect the trailer so that you're not knocking up the trailer. All right, so the skid plate should be there, shouldn't be broken or cracked. You got your fifth wheel handle, all right? And make sure your handle is all the way in whenever you're pulling a trailer. All right, that's one of the first things I check. Just give it a little push, make sure it's all the way in. And you have your pivot pins, 1, 2. That's what lets the fifth wheel tilt underneath these trailers, all right? You got your trailer ribs. You can see them a little bit. The ribs of the trailer, they go all the way down. You want to make sure that they're not cracked or broken or bent, all right? You got your leaf spring and your lift spring hanger. That's the leaf spring, that's the hanger. Want to make sure it's not cracked or bent. And right here, you'll see a brake chamber. Try to get it in there so you can see. It's a brake chamber and a brake chamber ring. You also have your brake lines. Get in there a little better. And your brake lines, you want to make sure that there's not rusted, any shiny metal around it. And make sure that your lines are not frayed and you don't have any leaks. You will hear the air leaking if you have a pretty good leak. All right. You have to have mud flaps. So you want to make sure that you have 2 mud flaps, one over there, one over there. While I'm down here, I always check and make sure that my lights and my flashes are working on my tractor. I don't know if you can see it or not. You can't see it. See the little metal bar that's going across there? That's what locks the tractor to the trailer. All right. That's what locks the kingpin to the kingpin shaft. You got your landing gear feet. You want to make sure that they're on there, they're not broken off. I've had them broken. Now remember, listen, a lot of guys do this. Don't be a lazy trucker, man. Roll your landing gear all the way up. I've seen guys get caught on speed bumps, on railroad tracks, all because they're super truckers, too lazy to lift their landing gear all the way up. Don't be that guy. Like this guy. Here on these trailers, they have a marker light that's in between. It's a marker light that's not flash, but it's just there as a marker light. If you had a regular trailer, in between the drive axle and the trailer tires, right about here, you would have another light. Then you go to the rear axle. Now all the axles on these trucks are the same, man. You got leaf spring hangers. Back here you have a torsion rod. Back here in the torque rod, this goes left to right and up and down. Keeps everything moving at the same pace because these are not drive tires. These are only gonna roll, all right? So I'm gonna give them a good thump. Make sure they're making about the same sound. Once again, check and make sure all my lug nuts are there. There's no shiny metal or rust around them. Like I told you before, I'm gonna give them a good thump. Make sure all the tires are not there. Now, why is that important? Because had I not checked that yesterday, I would have rolled down the road with a flat tire, all right? ABS light, all right? Just letting you know that all the brakes on the trailer are working correctly. If this light is illuminated, it should also be illuminated on the dashboard inside the truck. But if not, if something's wrong with that, that's a brake issue. All right, side marker light. Now once again, this is a container, so it's a little different than a dry van. But still, you have your marker light, your brake and turn signal. I leave that lights up for brakes too on this trailer. And look, this is why I do a post trip. I got a light hanging out. I fix this light like 3 or 4 times today alone. But let's get a good push in there. You want to make sure that you have to have 3 marker lights. All right, you got your license plate that has to be up there, and you have a light. I don't know if you can see it. You see the light illuminating off the mallet. That light has to be working. This is your DOT bar. All right, that bar has to be there, and it has to have reflective stripping on it. Same thing here with the lights. Of course, the mud flaps. You want to make sure that when you look at your trailer, try to get it out getting in the sun. See those tops? 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure they are all the way in and aligned. Because what'll happen if they're not, this door will be cracked open slightly, leave room for moisture and all those things to get inside the trailer, which is the absolute worst. All right. So you want to make sure your handles are in and secure. They're inside their latches, so they are secure. Secure trailer. All right. I am empty, so there is no seal. Also with containers, I'm gonna do another separate container video. So you have another light. Do a separate container video where I talk about ins and outs of container. I would do it now, but I don't know anything about containers to give you. I can only really pre-trip it, post-trip it, and get it ready to roll. That light's working. On this container, the landing gear handle to roll up and roll down the landing gear is here. Secure the handle. See, it's a little slot here. That means that handle's secure. It won't fall off and break into someone's window. Got another mud flap. Go ahead and check these tires. Smoke the thumps out of them. Those tires sound good. Down. Another light flashing. That light's working. Take another tire. Make sure everything's present. It is. Give this tire a thump. Make sure the sidewalls aren't cracked. That lets you know there's no humps in it. Make sure people have not been running over curves. Alright? Give y'all a little bit under the hood. Got me out here smoking. Put a glove on, y'all. Alright. Sorry about that. Trying to get the sun out of the way. Alright, so on the Freightliner, the hood is secured by latches. I know it's the same thing on Internationals, but I know on Volvos, it has a trunk latch, a hood latch underneath the steering wheel. So this here has a little latch. You can barely see it, just pull it down and pop out, lift it up. And most of these new hoods all have hydraulics. So you just want to slightly lift. Some of the older hoods you have to lift from the front. These ones you can just push it up, let it fall a little bit. All right. So right here, just like in the rear, you got a brake chamber. Let me show you a little better here. Got a brake chamber ring, and the brake hose. Okay, you want to make sure that this is all secure, and it's not, is that it's secured to the framing. Can't have that hanging. Want to make sure it's not leaking. Right here is a slack adjuster. Slack adjuster is what adjusts your brakes. It gives you the air in the brakes. Okay, it's what gives you the pedal reaction. When you pull this, it should not move more than 1 inch. Okay, and it has to sit at a 90-degree angle. If you can see, this is my brake drum. Okay, make sure everything's secure. It's not rusted. There's no shiny metal inside here. And you see this? This is the brake line. I mean, by the way, that's the brake liner right there. That brake liner has to be at least 1/4 inch for the truck to be legal. Okay? Alright. I have the Cummins engine. If you're going through some of the Cummins parts. On this truck, the windshield wiper fill is here. Alright. You got your air intake, manifold, fold. We're on the other side to get to the thing I want to show y'all the most. Switch over to the driver's side. And once again, it's exactly the same. You got your brake chamber hoses, your brake chamber ring, your slack adjuster, sitting at a 90-degree angle, and your brake pads and your brake shoes. All right, so you got your leaf spring hangers down here. You got your castle nuts and cotter pins. There's another one right there. I don't know how good you can see it. You got your anchor plate and your U-bolts. Call it U-bolt because it's shaped the shape of a U. You got your shocks and your suspension. You want to make sure that all this stuff is not rusted, okay? You got your power steering fluid. It has a meter here. Make sure you have power steering fluid. You got your water and fuel separator. This takes